Well, guys, we've made it to Wednesday. It's Hump Day edition of End the Simpademic. This is Jason coming at you here, and I have an interesting subject here. And as I mentioned last night, I like to call fair both ways, but this one actually applies to both sides. And I want to talk about high value men and women being confused with being high earning men and women. There's a distinct difference between the two, and I think a lot of people miss it. And this is across the board. I've seen women say they're looking for a high value man. They actually really mean high earning man, and vice versa. This is a terminology that I think gets confused a lot. Not all high earning men are high value men, and not all high value men are high earning men. The two are distinct, and I think the important thing is a high earning man or woman obviously makes a lot of money, and sometimes those two are seen as high value. But a actual high value man or woman is going to be this way regardless. They're going to have that label regardless of how much money they earn or make. They bring things to the table that are not necessarily measured in dollars and cents. For example, myself, I have a decent job, I make a decent income, and I make enough to live comfortably by myself. And it's that's not a small it's not a small accomplishment in this economy. But values I bring are to certain women. My Christian faith would be a very high value component. To other women, not so much. So to certain women, the fact that I have overcome an immense amount of adversity against insane odds my entire life is going to be high value to a lot of women, and others, most of them, couldn't care less. And so that to that regard, so high value does not, not everybody who's high value is necessarily a high earner. Not everybody who's a high earner is necessarily a high value. And I think we need to make a careful distinction between the two. This is on both sides of the gender war, by the way. Both men and women. You could actually have a high income man who's the biggest simp on the planet and will do ridiculous things that throw insane amounts of money, and because they're a high earner, they have a lot of money to throw at these OnlyFans models or Instagram models. They'll just blindly throw money at them just to try to get their attention. And so a high earning man can be a low value simp. I don't think it's very common, but I've seen it a couple times. And so, but at the same time, it is also possible to be both. And my old-time high school friend in Texas, I think she actually falls in this category, but she was looking so much to have somebody who was a high-earning man, and I will emphasize high-earning because, in fact, she even readily admitted that's what she was looking for, because she was a high-earning woman, but her value, and I don't think she ever advertised it enough, and I think she should have, which is I think is a big mistake, because she was so focused on the high-earning man. I think she has value that I don't think could be, that she ever really tried to quantify, which is I think was tragic. She, like myself, is very, very tough and very, very resilient. We both were great friends in high school because we shared that trait, and we grew up in I don't want to say tragic, but definitely both grew up in abusive circumstances, and so that's how we knew each other. And the fact of the matter is, she was a member of the dance team, and I was just a regular freshman, and that kept us from ever being romantically involved. But I found out years later that in her heart she wanted that. with me, and I'm my mind is blown away just even thinking about that these days. A sophomore cheerleader and a freshman whatever guy, having a girl with that kind of feeling. And I wish I had known back then, but nonetheless, here I am today. So she is a high value and high earning woman, not as high earning as she used to be, but still makes pretty good money, and is an equity queen, by the way, having traded up houses throughout the years, paying off loans and then trading it in for a bigger house, and then paying off that loan and then trading in that equity for a bigger house. And her value was also in being very, very strategic and very smart, which led her to, of course, a job with a Fortune 500 PC company in the 90s. So, am I a high earning man? No. Am I a comfortable earning man? Yes. Do I have values that aren't necessarily seen just looking at me? Yeah. So I'm, just to somebody out there, I probably am a high value man, but I'm also not a high earning man. But you see a lot of those TikTok videos these days of women saying that they're looking for a high value man, and they think they mean high earning man. And I think men think of high value women as being high earners. And I think this is a mistake that I think we need to shake, because we are, high value and high earning are really two totally different things. And I think we need to think about that a lot more, especially when we're consuming social media and we see people on either side of the gender divide saying that they're looking for a high value man or a high value woman, and knowing that they might be confusing a high value person for a high earning person. So that's an important distinction I think I just wanted to bring forth tonight. And again, it's getting warmer here in Minnesota here, folks. Been in the low 70s today, and I will leave it at that for tonight. I think I have something else I was going to go through for tomorrow, but I will throw a little teaser out there about it, and that is I live in Minnesota, which is a blue state. However, the part of Minnesota that I live in, the northern exurbs of the Twin Cities metro, is actually very conservative. And my county votes red on a regular basis. It's a deep red county. My town, or where I live these days, is the hometown of one of Trump's cabinet members. I will let you guess which one, and I will let you think about this one for tomorrow before I come up with the Thursday night edition of End the Simpademic. And I'm going to go through this subject a little bit further tomorrow night, and it's probably going to ruffle a few feathers, but it's probably going to cause a few thumbs ups as well. So that is it, and I will see you all tomorrow night, and peace out, homies.